Hello and welcome to this new lesson, which is intended for students of grade 12. In this lesson, we're going to read a comprehension passage, and then we're going to answer questions, and we'll do summary making and translation. But first, we'll take a short break, then we'll be right back. So stay with us. Welcome back, dear students. In this lesson, we're going to read a comprehension passage, and we're going to answer questions, and then we'll do summary making and translation. So let's start right away. First, here is question number 1. I tend to remind my students to read questions first and then read the passage. It is a good habit, and though it sounds like you are reading backwards, but it is very beneficial. It helps you because it focuses your mind and it gives you a purpose while skimming through the passage. So let's read the question. The role of modern communication technology is the best title for the passage. You have to decide whether it is the best one or not. There are some other options. Surfing the net kept family members apart, surfing the net reunited family members, or surfing the net as a means of entertainment. Now let's go through the passage. Jill Smith last saw her father when she was just 8 years old. Her parents had divorced and her father had moved to Ireland. As she grew up, Jill often wondered whether she might have a younger half-sister or brother and decided to investigate. But last summer, Jill's search ended in the most unexpected way. I'd gone online looking for a cake recipe, which was taking forever to download, so I decided to check my email while I waited, says Jill, 55, a retired news editor from Cornwall. I'd recently registered with Genes Connected, a website that traces your relatives and ancestry. A new email from Genes Connected informed me a name had just entered my dad's name, Francis Colin Smith, and his place of birth, Bristol. The name Deborah Smith appeared on screen, along with an email address. Trying to quell her excitement by reasoning that Smith was a common surname, Jill emailed Deborah asking if her dad, Francis Smith, had lived in Plymouth during the 1950s, where Jill lived when her mom and dad were still together. The answer popped back, yes. They traded more details and discovered that they were, in fact, half-sisters. This was Jill, who'd grown up as an only child, quite an emotional experience. I burst into tears, she says. For the next 2 months, they emailed, texted, and phoned each other constantly. And in October 2003, Jill flew to Ireland to meet the sister she never knew she had. We were both very nervous, but the moment we met, we knew we were related. We were both tall and skinny, just like Dad, says Jill. Jill had always hoped she would be reunited with her father and saw this as her chance. But sadly, Deborah had to break the news to her that he died in 1981, a year after Jill's mother's death. The two sisters have since visited their father's grave together. Despite her grief at not being able to see her father before he died, Jill is overjoyed to find that she has a new whole family, including a nephew, Stuart, 19. He's the spitting image of our father, and he even has the same wicked sense of humor, says Jill. All right, so after we've read this passage, we're going to move to the first type of question, which is a multiple choice question. So from A, B, C, and D, choose the correct answer. And here is a reminder of the question that we read before we started reading the passage. The best title for the passage is The Role of Modern Communication Technology. B, Surfing the Net Kept Family Members Apart. C, Surfing the Net Reunited Family Members. And D, Surfing the Net as a Means of Entertainment. Go ahead, pick up a choice. Which one do you think is the best title for the passage? Okay, so the right answer is C, surfing the net, reunited family members. And if you need some justification why this is the best title, then you have to look at paragraph 5, for example, where here you find the information that Jill flew to Ireland to meet the sister she never knew she had. And this justifies that it is a case of family reunion. Jill is flying to meet her sister. Okay? And throughout another paragraph, you can find so many words that show us that Jill is using the internet, that she is surfing the internet. Words such as search, online, download, my email, website, registered, on-screen, email address. Okay? So by basing our judgment upon the following pieces of information or details, then we say that the best title for the passage is Surfing the Net, Reunited Family Members. Right? Let's proceed to question number 2. Jill's father was born in Cornwall, Bristol, Ireland, and Plymouth. Now, in the first exercise, the reading technique we used is called skimming. We read the passage quickly, and we tried to understand its main idea, and we came up with the title. In this exercise, or this question, you're going to practice a technique called scanning. And scanning means looking for a word or a date and sometimes a name in the passage, and then try to compare that word with the question. Okay? So here is a practice of that technique. Jill's father was born in Cornwall, Bristol, Ireland, or Plymouth. Now the first word of the place mentioned is Cornwall. Now let's go through the text and find the word Cornwall. Here it is. Jill's father was born in Cornwall. We check the place with the information given. And the information given is that Jill is from Cornwall. It's not her father's birthplace. So this is not the correct choice. We move on to the second name in the list, which is Bristol. Is Bristol the birthplace of the father? Well, let's check the information given. My dad's name, Francis Colin Smith, and his place of birth, Bristol. So that is the correct answer then. Okay? Good. So Jill's father was born in Bristol. If, for example, Bristol is not the correct answer, I will continue with Ireland, and I search for the place called Ireland, and then I check the information given, and that relates to that place. Okay? Question number 3. The underlined word which in paragraph 2 refers to A, last summer, B, Jill's search, C, a cake, or the recipe. So here is the pronoun which, and we're going to compare, or we're going to find the reference. Does it refer to last summer? So it's a good practice to read the whole sentence in which this pronoun occurred. Let's read it together. But last summer, Jill's search ended in the most unexpected way. I'd gone online looking for a cake recipe, which was taking forever to download. So is which here referring back to last summer? As you know, last summer is a time expression, and if we want to use a pronoun to refer to it, then I would use when. But here we have which. So this makes the first option incorrect. We move on to the second alternative given in the list of choices, which is Jill's search. Does which here refer to Jill's search? Well, no. Jill's search cannot take forever to download. Okay, we do not download a search. Okay, we download a search result. So this is not correct. Next one is the word cake. The cake was taking forever to download. Now, as you might have noticed, this text is an article which is telling us a real life story. So this is not a science fiction movie where you can download things via the internet. So a cake cannot be downloaded. So let's move on to the last option, which is a recipe. And yes, the recipe was taking forever to download. Okay? So this is the right word which is referred to by using the pronoun which. Okay, so the underlined word which in paragraph 2 refers to the recipe. It is a cake recipe, but the head noun here is the recipe itself. Good. Now we move on to question number 4. The underlined verb to quell in paragraph 3 means, and you have a list of options to choose from. The first one is to increase, B, to appreciate, C, to control, and D, to add. Let's find the verb to quell in paragraph 3, and there it is. Okay. So, trying to quell her excitement by reasoning that Smith was a common surname. This is the sentence. Okay. Now, notice that to quell here is a transitive verb. Okay. It needs an adjective, an object, sorry. So what is the object related to quell? Jill is trying to quell what? She is trying to quell her excitement. Excitement means her feelings. She is overjoyed, she is excited. Okay? So to quell her excitement. And excitement means feelings and affection. How is she trying to quell her excitement? She is trying to quell her excitement by reasoning. And reasoning is something of the brain, of the mind. So we have here the brain and the feelings. And we often know that thoughts and the brain is trying to control feelings. So here, the reasoning, and the reasoning is that Smith was a common surname, is trying to control or to manage her excitement. Okay? So she's trying to limit her excitement by thinking that, well, after all, Smith is a commonly used name or surname. Okay? So she doesn't want to be disappointed, and therefore she's trying to maintain herself, she's trying to quell her excitement, she's trying to control her excitement. Well, the underlined verb to quell then means to control. Now, as you might have noticed, even if you don't know the meaning of to quell from free reading or from referring back to your dictionary or glossary, you could find the meaning or understand and grasp the meaning of that word by using some context clues, okay? By using some words and ideas and combine them together and see the rationale or the logic that is combining them and come up with the meaning of the word in question. Here the word to quell. Right. Now, question number 5, this is another chance for you to practice the same procedure, the same technique I used, which is using context clues to come up with the meaning of a word. The underlined word traces in paragraph 2 means draws a picture of, finds the origin of, loses track of, or makes someone notice something. Here is the word. It is underlined in the paragraph. You need to read the sentence. A website that traces your relatives and ancestry. So we are being told here that we have a website, it's called Genes Connected, and it is tracing your relatives and ancestry. And then in the next sentence, we have an example. We have an example that shows us how the website is tracking or tracing users. A new email from, so we have here someone entered a name, okay, someone, and this person has just entered Jill's father's name. And when the website tracked this person, she sent an email to inform Jill. So this is an example of tracing. So tracing means try to find the origin of. Okay? Now, next question reads, the text has a happy ending, an unhappy ending, a horrible ending, or a mysterious ending. Let's go to the last paragraph, because we're talking about the end of the story, so we'll find it in paragraph 5. So we blank out the beginning of the paragraph and we focus our attention on the last but one sentence. It reads, despite her grief. Now, for a while, when you read the word grief, you might think that it is an unhappy and sad story. But hold your horses. Let's continue reading. she is grieving, she is sad because she is not able to see her father. But later on, we have this information. Jill is overjoyed. She is excited again to find that she has a whole new family. She has a new nephew, okay, whose name is Stuart. So this makes the text happy, with a happy ending, right? Good. Now, we have an expression in the text which is spitting image. The underlined expression spitting image means someone who doesn't resemble another person, someone who doesn't look like another person, someone who likes another person very much, or someone who looks exactly like another person. And here is the expression in the text. If we want to read the sentence in which this expression occurred, he is the spitting image of our father, and he even has the same wicked sense of humor. Now, here the word the same gives us a clue in one way or another to the meaning of spitting image. So spitting image means looks exactly like another person. Okay, so they are lookalikes. Next question. Jill and Deborah were half-sisters because they were born to the same mother on the same occasion, means they are twins. They had the same mother but different fathers. They had the same parents but they lived away from each other. They had the same father but different mothers. Okay, so here is the text. Now notice that whenever we talk about both sisters, the two sisters together, we read, we are both just like dad. So always they are linked or related to the father. Down in the paragraph, we read, the two sisters visited their father's grave. And whenever the mother is mentioned, we mention only one girl at a time. So here, for example, we have Jill's mother. So this means that they are related to the father, but they have separate or different mothers. And this makes sentence D correct answer. Okay? So, and the correct answer is they had the same father, but different mothers. Great. So far, so good. We're going to move to another type of question. Try to answer these WH questions. What did Jill decide to investigate about? Here is paragraph number 1. Okay. So focus your attention on this part of the paragraph. Did you come up with the answer? Well, the answer is she decided to find out whether she might have a younger half-sister or brother. Next question. What did Jill do online instead of waiting for the document to open? Okay, so she is waiting for the download to open. Meanwhile, she did something else. What is it? Here is the paragraph in which you will find the answer. So read it at your own pace and try to come up with the answer. All right? You're ready to answer? There you go. The answer is she decided to check her email. Very easy, very simple, and very straightforward. Now, at 55 years of age, what did Jill do for a living? Again, here is the part where you will find the answer. Take your time. Okay, scan this paragraph, and there is the answer. She is a retired news editor. Okay, great. Next question. How did Jill and Deborah keep in touch? Okay, notice here from the beginning of paragraph 5, we are being told that they emailed, texted, and phoned each other constantly, and that makes the perfect answer for our question. Jill and Deborah kept in touch by emailing, texting, and phoning each other constantly. What information did Jill need to make sure Deborah is indeed her half-sister? Well, here is the paragraph. It's paragraph 3. Okay, I'll blank out the unnecessary information, and the answer will be found in this sentence. Jill emailed Deborah asking if her father or if her dad, Francis Smith, had lived in Plymouth during the 1950s. Okay, there is the answer. She wanted to know if Deborah's father had lived in Plymouth during the 1950s, because it's during this period that her mother and father were still together. Which signs show that both sisters bear a very close resemblance to their father? We're looking for some signs that show that both sisters are resembling their dad. Okay? Here is the part of the paragraph where you will find the information. And the answer is right there. We are both tall and skinny, just like Dad. Okay? For how long hasn't Jill met her father? Well, the question how long means that we are asking about a period of time. And here is the paragraph. There are two paragraphs, and we are going to compare the information between the two. Jill Smith last saw her father when she was 8 years old. And then in another paragraph, we are being told that Jill is 55. So a simple mathematical operation would solve the problem. 55 minus 8, and that makes it 47 years. So she hasn't met her father for 47 years. How did Stuart remind Jill and Deborah of their father? Well, Stuart was tall, skinny, and has a wicked sense of humor, just like his grandfather. Have you noticed that I didn't refer you back to the paragraph? Because sometimes you can answer some questions without going back to the text. Some information will stick in your mind because you have read the passage once, twice, and sometimes thrice, and even more. So that's a way of going through some questions without reading the paragraph, but it's very important that you double check later on. Okay, so now we're going to move to summary making, and in not less than 4 sentences, sum up the last paragraph showing the emotional changes Jill had. Throughout her search journey, Jill went throughout many emotional changes, many different feelings, and we are going to search for these feelings throughout this paragraph. Okay, so emotional changes. The first word that refers to emotion is the word nervous. She was nervous at the beginning. And then we have the word hoped, so she was hopeful. And then we have the word grief, so she was full of grief and sad. And then we have the word overjoyed. Okay, so she was excited at the end. So notice that we can answer this question as follows. She felt nervous when she flew to meet her half-sister. She felt hopeful to meet her father. She felt full of grief to know her father died. And she felt overjoyed to know she had a new family. Okay? So having answered that question, we move to the last part of this lesson, which is translation. And here is a paragraph that we need to translate into Arabic. Let's read it together. Jill Smith last saw her father when she was just 8 years old. Her parents had divorced and her father had moved to Ireland. As she grew up, Jill often wondered whether she might have a younger half-sister or brother and decided to investigate. Well, let's take this paragraph sentence by sentence. Okay? Jill Smith last saw her father when she was just 8 years old. How can we translate this sentence? Remember that we are not after word-for-word translation, we are after translating the meaning. Okay? And the best, or one way of translating this sentence is كانت جيل تبلغ من العمر 8 سنوات عندما رأت والدها لآخر مرة. Is this the perfect translation? Well, it could be, but there are other possible ways to translate this sentence. For example, we can say رأت جيل والدها لآخر مرة عندما كان عمرها 8 أعوام فقط. Have you noticed that these two sentences, the Arabic sentences, are not quite alike in wordings, but they carry the same message? That's what we are after when we translate. We are after the message. We try to communicate the message in the sentence, and we are not after word for word translation. Now, second sentence, her parents had divorced and her father had moved to Ireland. Okay, very easy, very straightforward sentence, and it translates like so. انفصل والداها وانتقل والدها إثر ذلك للعيش في أيرلندا. Next sentence. As she grew up, Jill often wondered whether she might have a younger half-sister or brother and decided to investigate. وعندما كبرت تساءلت جيل مرارا إذا كان لها أخت أو أخ يصغرها سنا من أم أخرى وقررت أن تبدأ بالبحث. Now translate the following sentences into English. تعرف عادة بيوت كبار السن بدور المسنين. إنه من النادر أن نجد هذه الديار في الكويت والعالم العربي لأن الإسلام يعلم الأطفال أن يكرموا آباءهم وأمهاتهم. Okay, so the best translation for this is, for sentence number 1, old people's homes are often known as geriatric homes. And for the second sentence, we can translate it as so. It is rare to find these homes in Kuwait and the Arab world because Islam teaches children to honor their parents. Dear students, this lesson has come to an end. I hope it was beneficial to you. In this lesson, we have revised reading comprehension strategies, and we did summary making and translation. Now, thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope to see you very soon. Till then, goodbye for now.